What's good, guys? The Novice back with another review. Okay, this time I'm gonna talk about a Netflix movie I watched a couple of days ago called Old Guard, but specifically, why's that word so hard to say? Specifically, how it helped me process some things like mortality and like purpose, stuff that I've been thinking about recently. For obvious reasons, some not so much, and also like the power of Mystique as well. Okay, so first off, Mystique. I've realized watching this movie because it came out a while back, when it was more anticipated, when there was more hype for it. But watching it now helped confirm something for me. It confirms something that when something's when there's not too much kind of don't know the words. When there's not too many expectations around something, when something's mysterious, when I don't see the trailers for something, when I don't hear a lot of chatter about something, and then I go into it, that's the purest form of consumption of entertainment for me when it comes to film. I love movies that I don't have context for. I'm realizing that, and I think that's why a lot of my favorite movies are old school, or like classic movies from the 80s and so on, before my time. But are also just movies that I've noticed I don't expect too much from, because either because I don't know about them or some other reason, right? And that's how I came into this movie, The Old Guard. The Old Guard, watching it, I really thought, first off, the action. I love the action scenes in this movie, they're great. But the thing that really vibed with me about this movie is how much it made me reflect on like sense of purpose in life, and like living your life with your own individual sense of purpose. Because you would expect a movie about immortals. That's what this movie is about. It's about a group of immortals going through the ages, kind of fighting people on the run, so on. That's what I say. You would expect a movie like that to have no real kind of weight to it, but it does. And without getting into how specifically, watching this movie with the main character, especially played by Charlie Theron, Andy, I realized that she is a lot. Well, she's not. She's nothing like me. But we have that same basic kind of lost feeling. And for me, it's different because I'm at a point in my life where I'm searching for meaning, right? For reasons to live my life as best as I can. And I realized that she's doing the same thing throughout this movie. Like, she's wondering, like, why. She has that kind of grumpiness to her, but it's more subtle with her, and that's something that resonated with me a lot. That for someone who's lived for so long, she's ironically, is it ironic? You would be bitter if you lived that long. Yeah, you would be bitter. It's not ironic, but she seemed like such an average human in terms of her temperament, is what I'm saying. And it was so like down to earth for me, for someone who's supposed to be like this kind of godly kind of person because of her physical abilities. But lastly, here's the most important thing. It just made me reflect a lot about my own sense of mortality. It's something I've been doing a lot anyway, but for obvious reasons, because of this pandemic, um, I've known people who have unfortunately passed from COVID, right? Families who have been orphaned by it, family, friends, and watching, for example, at the beginning of the year, my granddad died. He didn't die from COVID. He died like before the pandemic, right before it started kicking off in like early February, early mid February. And I remember when it happened. Ever since this happened, thinking about how I'm honestly so afraid of death, of people close to me dying. I don't know what I would do if I was in the same situation with my mom as she was with my granddad, right? Watching her break down, like she can't hear someone say bring him up or mention him without breaking down. She can't even look at pictures of him anymore because it just makes her feel too sad. Obviously, people go through grief and process, and it's a part of life. People die every day, but it's one thing acknowledging that is one thing. Really processing that is maybe like one two in my personal life. It's maybe want to learn more about my own mental health, my own mental well-being, and how to not just kind of make sure that anything in life that I have like I'm motivated to do things in my life, but also make sure that I'm sound. I'm of a sound mind, because that worries me that something that serious happening to someone I care about, my parents, or just being at the age where I know that's coming for me, would maybe break down mentally to the point where it wouldn't matter if I was alive or not, or someone else who I cared about was alive or not. I would be like gone up here. And it made me just think about my own sense of like mortality and how I have to focus on stuff like that. That stuff like that is as important. You don't need to listen to like a podcast to know stuff like that is as important as, you know, exercising, reading every so often. And it's also something I'm at the age, most importantly, where it's not just my granddad dying, it's the idea that I don't see myself truly as a person who's immortal. And I used to think of myself that way. I think because of my age, um, my youth, I used to think of it as something like, you know what, that's so far away. I might as well be someone he's never gonna really catch my last breath like that. But now I'm at the age where I know time is only going forward. It will never go back. And watching this movie made me reflect on that. Especially, by the way, there's a horrifying image in this movie that for someone like myself is so disturbing. You want to make sure that you are as content with your life as possible. So, because people can't control how they die, unfortunately, in the end. But you can make sure whilst you're living that you do the best you can, right? It's now that I'm starting to truly feel that instead of just hearing people say that or hearing myself say that. The image of Quinn, the character in this movie, you guys will know who I'm talking about when you see her. The image of her and her what she goes through, you guys know what I'm talking about. It's so horrifying. I can't erase that. Is an ironic motivator to just learn more about, again, the stuff I've talked about, my own sense of like mental well-being and fulfillment, trying to make sure I'm motivated to do things throughout my life in terms of like work and whatever, study. Some people call it like spirituality. I'm not particularly religious, but trying to make sure that, you know, I'm at peace with myself, because yeah, again, I can't control how I go out, and the only way I would be content by the end is by making sure I do myself justice first and foremost, and then the people and the things I care about most, like doing right doing right by example. You guys tell me what you think about this movie, the effect it had on you, The Old Guards. Tell me your thoughts down below. I'm also excited for any future stuff to come from this world with the mid-credit scene cliffhanger. If you like this video, please press that thumbs up button. Feel free to check out some of my other videos as well if you like this. Apart from that, I'm signing off. Salute to you guys. Laters.